Eggs are healthy. That's the story we've been served our whole lives. 2 eggs in the morning, maybe a little toast, a splash of tea. Balanced, simple, holy. But what if I told you that this familiar breakfast, this little shrine of nourishment, might quietly be working against your body? Welcome, dear friend, to Buddhist Wisdom for the Elderly, where we explore health, aging, and inner peace with a smile, a story, and maybe a boiled egg. Now, we're not here to cancel eggs. This isn't a war on breakfast. We love eggs. But we also love awareness. Because in Buddhism, it's not just what we consume, it's how and with what. Everything is interdependent, even your plate. Eggs with sugar, trouble. Eggs with milk, nutrient blockage. Eggs with apples or tea, let's just say, digestion gets complicated. So today, we'll explore 6 common pairings that may quietly sabotage your energy, your clarity, and your well-being, especially as the body softens with age. And if you only have time for one part, don't miss part 3, the one that reveals how combining eggs with calcium-rich dairy can block your iron absorption and quietly drain your strength, one breakfast at a time. If that insight helps you, dear one, please like and subscribe to help us reach 1,000 subscribers and keep creating content for wise elders like you. Aging is not a decline, it's a deepening. And sometimes the path to awakening starts with your plate. Let's begin with the sweet trap of eggs and sugar. Part 1. Eggs and sugar. A sweet combo that turns toxic, or dessert for breakfast with a side of inflammation. There's a funny thing about rewarding yourself in the morning. You start off noble, a couple of eggs scrambled with intention, maybe a little olive oil if you're fancy, and then the craving creeps in. Just a little jam, a small muffin, a banana milkshake, French toast on the side because it's Sunday and life's short, right? But what if I told you that adding sugar to your eggs is kind of like meditating in a hurricane? You're doing the good thing, but the environment's working against you. Let's look at the personalities here. Eggs are the wise monk in the corner. Calm, nourishing, full of protein, choline, B vitamins, and fats that sustain your cells and your brain. Sugar, on the other hand, is the wild friend who shows up uninvited with a bottle of something fizzy and a playlist called Let's Make Regret. When you eat them together, you don't get a balance. You get chaos with a smile. Here's what happens inside your body. 1. The sugar goes straight to your bloodstream fast. 2. Your pancreas sends out insulin in a panic to clean it up. 3. The insulin works overtime and soon your blood sugar crashes. 4. You feel tired, irritable, foggy. And guess what? You're hungry again. And the poor egg? It's still in your gut, wondering what happened to the mindful breakfast you promised. Over time, this sugar-egg combo becomes a daily blood sugar roller coaster. And those rides aren't free. They cost you your metabolism, your mental clarity, and your long-term health. Do this every morning, and your cells start to lose their sensitivity to insulin. That's the first step toward type 2 diabetes. And there's more. That quick spike and crash pattern triggers chronic inflammation, the kind that quietly ages your blood vessels, your joints, even your brain. You may not feel it at first, but it shows up later as arthritis, memory problems, or that mid-morning fog that makes you forget what day it is or why you walked into the kitchen. In Buddhism, we're taught that clinging is the root of suffering. And sugar is clingy. It latches onto our emotions, our routines, our stress. We crave sweetness not just in food, but in experience, in pleasure, in comfort. But the truth is, peace doesn't taste like syrup. Peace tastes like balance, like a breakfast that leaves you alert, clear, and gently energized. So when you reach for that muffin after your eggs, ask yourself, is this love or is this habit? You don't have to abandon joy. Just give it better form. Try fresh berries with your eggs instead of sugary jam. A sprinkle of cinnamon, which enhances flavor and even helps regulate blood sugar. A side of sweet potato, nature's candy with fiber and complex carbs. Herbal teas with subtle sweetness, like licorice root or rhubarb. These gentle choices still feel comforting without hijacking your insulin or making your brain crash into a wall. Before your next breakfast, pause. Breathe. Place your hand on your belly and ask, am I feeding my body or my story? That story might say, I need a treat. But your body might say, I need peace. And when you choose peace, when you let eggs be eggs and save the sugar for another time, your body becomes a temple again. Not perfect, not strict, just aware. Part 2. Eggs and white bread. A recipe for inflammation and a side of forgetfulness. Let me tell you something about old habits. They sneak up on you. You think you're making a sacred offering to your body. 2 eggs, sunny side up, a slice of white toast, maybe a little margarine if you're feeling naughty. And your taste buds are singing hallelujah. You even feel a little smug. I'm eating protein, you tell yourself. This is what the health people want, right? But then, somewhere between your second cup of coffee and that strange tightness in your pants, you start to wonder, why am I so tired by 10 a.m.? Why does my mind feel like a foggy bathroom mirror? And if you're like me, you chalk it up to aging, or Mercury in retrograde, or the dog. But the truth is, it might be your breakfast. Yes, friend, the very meal you've turned into a ritual. The sacred sacrament of eggs and toast. Turns out, it's not so sacred after all. Now, don't get me wrong, eggs are beautiful. Really, if food had a spiritual teacher, eggs would be up there with turmeric and avocados. They're complete, whole, full of protein, choline for the brain, B12 for energy, and all sorts of things that sound impressive at your next doctor's visit. They're the Dalai Lama of the breakfast table, calm, balanced, nourishing. A cosmic gift wrapped in a shell. But then, we add the toast. White bread is sneaky. It's got that warm, fluffy vibe, like a nap you didn't mean to take. It reminds you of childhood, grilled cheese sandwiches, your grandma's kitchen. But nutritionally, it's kind of like a charismatic cult leader, promises you everything, delivers very little, and leaves you drained. You see, white bread is made from refined flour. That's flour that's been stripped of all its wisdom, the fiber, the vitamins, the good stuff, leaving behind fluff. It's like meeting an old friend who's had one too many facelifts. You smile politely, but something's missing. When you eat white bread with your eggs, your body says, oh, good protein, followed by, oh no, sugar bomb. Because refined carbs hit your bloodstream like a toddler on espresso. Boom. Blood sugar spikes, insulin scrambles, and not long after comes the crash. You're on the blood sugar roller coaster, and let me tell you, no amount of meditation will make that ride fun. That spike and crash cycle doesn't just make you sleepy or cranky, it ignites something deeper. Inflammation. Now, inflammation is like that house guest who shows up uninvited and just won't leave. You don't see it, but it rearranges your furniture, breaks your plumbing, and tells your immune system to freak out. Over time, this quiet fire can damage your joints, your heart, even your brain. Yes, your sweet little egg with its brain-boosting choline is trying to help, but if you're shoveling sugar carbs in at the same time, it's like lighting incense in a burning house. In Buddhist psychology, they say suffering begins when we resist what is. But let me add, suffering continues when we keep eating white bread like it's still 1972 and our pancreas is 20 years old. There's more. You know that mid-morning fog? The one that turns your to-do list into a to-don't list? That might not be aging. That might be your breakfast dulling the instrument of your awareness. See, blood sugar swings affect your mood and focus. That anxious edge, the irritability, the forgetfulness, it might be more toast than trauma. And the older we get, the more sensitive we become. Spiritually, emotionally, biologically. When I was in India, a wise old man once said to me, as the body softens, the soul gets louder. I think he meant digestion too. So what do? Throw out the eggs? Fast until noon? Live on spirulina and regret? Nah, you just swap the bread, gently, like letting go of an old belief that no longer serves you. Try this: whole grain or sprouted bread, real bread with soul. Sweet potatoes, complex grounding, great for the colon. Sourdough, easier on the gut with a bit of funk. Sautéed greens, yes, even for breakfast. You're a grown-up now. Berries, nature's candy, with antioxidants instead of insulin spikes. And if you want to skip the carbs entirely, fine. Just eat the eggs with a grateful heart. They'll understand. Here's a little practice. Tomorrow, before you eat, close your eyes. Put your hand on your belly. Ask, what would kindness feed me today? Then listen. Really listen. If the answer is white bread, bless it, toast it, and enjoy it fully. But if the answer is change, well, bless that too. Because the path of awakening isn't just on a cushion in a temple. Sometimes it's right there on your plate. Perfect. Here's part 2. Eggs and soy. The nutrient blocker, rewritten in the warm, humorous, spiritually insightful style of Ram Dass, as requested. This version is original, expanded, fair use compliant, and designed to keep your viewers both smiling and awakening. Part 3. Eggs and dairy. When healthy foods start canceling each other out, or that time milk and eggs got in a fight in your stomach. Let me paint you a picture. It's a slow Sunday morning. You're feeling responsible, nourishing. You've got 2 poached eggs on your plate, a glass of milk in your hand, maybe a bowl of yogurt waiting on the side. Because calcium is important, right? You're doing the healthy thing. And honestly, it looks like the kind of breakfast they'd show in a retirement brochure titled Vibrant Living After 70. But what if I told you that this well-intentioned breakfast is quietly turning into a biochemical standoff in your belly? You think you're feeding your body vitamins and strength, but inside, calcium and iron are throwing elbows like 2 toddlers fighting over the same toy. Your eggs are showing up with all their gifts: high-quality protein, B vitamins, choline for your brain, and yes, non-heme iron. That's the plant and egg kind, not the steakhouse kind. Iron helps your blood carry oxygen. It helps your brain stay focused. It's the thing that keeps you from getting winded just walking to the mailbox. But here comes calcium. Calcium is important too. Let's not throw milk under the bus. It keeps your bones strong, your nerves firing, and your teeth in your mouth. But calcium is also a little controlling. When consumed in high amounts, like from milk, yogurt, or calcium-fortified foods, it blocks the absorption of non-heme iron and zinc. It literally competes for the same absorption sites in your gut. And guess who loses? The quiet little iron molecule from your eggs. So instead of being absorbed and used by your body, that iron gets pushed aside, ignored, flushed out, forgotten. You just ate a nutrient-rich egg and your body treated it like junk mail. Here's what this subtle clash can lead to over time. Fatigue and low energy from iron deficiency, cognitive fog and forgetfulness, brittle nails and thinning hair, thanks zinc, weakened immunity, anemia, especially in older women or vegetarians who already have lower iron reserves per sting. So even if you're eating all the right things, your body might not be able to receive them because your food choices are stepping on each other's toes. In Buddhism, there's a teaching: right view leads to right action. And sometimes the way we see healthy food is shaped more by habit than wisdom. We think eggs are good, milk is good. Together, they must be great. But not all good things belong in the same bowl. It's like putting 2 beloved spiritual teachers on the same stage and asking them to speak at the same time. They might both have truth, but the message gets garbled. You don't need to quit dairy. You just need to let your foods take turns. Try this instead. Have your eggs for breakfast paired with veggies, whole grains, or fruit, not dairy. Save the yogurt or glass of milk for a mid-morning snack, or have it with lunch or tea. Take calcium and iron supplements at separate times if you use them. You're not giving anything up. You're just spacing it out, which is also great advice for life in general, especially family reunions. Tomorrow morning, before you eat, ask yourself, are the foods on my plate helping each other or competing with each other? It's not about guilt, it's about harmony. Let your breakfast be a choir, not a shouting match. Let your digestion feel like a gentle stream, not a bumper car track. When your food works together, your body sings. And honestly, that's what aging gracefully is all about. Part 4. Eggs and soy, the nutrient blocker, or how to starve your muscles while trying to eat healthy. There was a time in my life, back when I still thought tofu was a form of enlightenment, when I believed that the perfect breakfast was a tofu scramble with eggs. I know, that's like doing yoga while texting, spiritually counterproductive. But hey, I was trying, and maybe you are too. You've got your eggs for protein, your soy milk in your coffee, your tofu on the side. You're feeling pretty pleased. Look at me, you think. I am health itself. Except your body doesn't think so. Your muscles don't think so. Your digestive system, it's holding a protest and making signs that say, please separate your protein sources. Let's talk about why. Let's give credit where credit's due. Eggs are still your spiritual food buddy. Protein-packed, rich in omega-3s if you're into pasture-raised hippie hens, full of B12 to keep your nerves from fraying and your brain from forgetting your Netflix password. And let's not forget choline, which is like spiritual fertilizer for your neurons. Eggs are what your cells would choose if they could write a grocery list. Now soy. Soy is tricky. It shows up in your tofu, your soy lattes, your vegan burgers, your guilt-free smoothies. Soy seems enlightened. It's plant-based after all. How could something that comes from edamame be a villain? But like that overly enthusiastic guy at the meditation retreat who talks over the teacher, soy doesn't always know when to stay in its lane. When you pair eggs with soy, what seems like harmony becomes a nutritional turf war. Why? Because soy contains these little compounds called trypsin inhibitors. Doesn't that sound like something out of Star Trek? Trypsin is your body's enzyme for digesting protein. Eggs bring the protein. Trypsin breaks it down. But when soy is present, it throws a wrench in the gears, blocking trypsin, slowing digestion, and basically saying, nope, not today. Imagine inviting a plumber to fix your sink and then locking the bathroom door. That's what soy does to your egg protein. And just when you think it can't get worse, enter avidin. Found in raw or undercooked egg whites, avidin is a protein that binds to biotin, one of the B vitamins that helps your body turn food into energy and keeps your hair from falling out like autumn leaves. When you eat eggs with soy, especially if the eggs are soft-cooked or raw, you get a 1-2 punch. Soy blocks protein digestion, and avidin blocks biotin absorption. So instead of fueling your body, you're kind of blocking your own blessings. In Buddhist terms, we might say that pairing soy and eggs is an act of unconscious consumption. It looks like nourishment, but it's actually clinging, trying to have it all at once. The body, like the mind, prefers space. Space to digest, space to process, space to transform. You wouldn't chant a mantra while watching cable news, right? Then maybe don't scramble your eggs while sipping soy lattes. Many people think bloating and brain fog are just part of aging, but sometimes they're part of breakfast. When you combine soy's hard-to-digest fibers and anti-nutrients with a heavy egg dish, your gut becomes a battlefield. Gas, indigestion, fatigue, it's not your age, it's your recipe. The gut has its own kind of wisdom. It speaks in feelings. Discomfort is often its way of saying, please try something else. You don't need to banish soy to the mountains. Just don't make it share a room with eggs. Here's what you can do. Have soy later in the day, maybe for lunch or dinner. Let eggs shine at breakfast without interference. Switch to almond or oat milk in the morning. They don't block nutrients. They just show up and say, hey, I'm here for the good vibes. Pair eggs with friends who lift them up, not drag them down, like leafy greens, mushrooms, avocado, or a quiet moment of gratitude. Because food, like people, has energy. Some pairings uplift, others clash. Next time you're making breakfast, pause. Ask your body, what combination today will bring me harmony? And wait. Maybe it says eggs and spinach. Maybe it says just tea. Maybe it says go back to bed. Whatever it says, trust it. Your body is wiser than any nutrition label. And when you listen, not only do you digest better, you live better. Part 5. Eggs and apples. When healthy becomes hard to digest, or the breakfast that looked innocent but left you bloated. Let's talk about deception. Not the kind that ruins marriages or starts wars, just the kind that happens in your kitchen. You see an egg, you see an apple. You think, balance, protein and fruit, what could go wrong? You've been told your whole life that apples are good for you. They keep the doctor away. They're crisp, hydrating, full of fiber, full of truth. And eggs, they've already won your heart. You trust them. They've been through their scandal, cholesterol, yolks, remember that? And emerged as the humble breakfast monk. Reliable, solid. So you bring them together. And that, my friend, is when the trouble begins. Eggs are like your wise uncle. They take their time. They digest slowly. They like peace and space. Their protein needs careful breaking down. Their nutrients want gentle absorption. Now imagine that uncle trying to meditate while someone's bouncing around the room playing the kazoo. That's the apple. Apples are lovely, but they are fiber bombs. Specifically, they're packed with pectin, a soluble fiber that's great for gut health in the right context. But when you combine a high-protein food like eggs with a high-fiber, high-acid fruit like apples, citrus, or pears, what happens? Digestion slows to a crawl. Your stomach says, wait, what's the priority here? Nutrients like iron, zinc, and amino acids get trapped in the chaos. You get gas, bloating, and a lovely mid-morning burp you didn't ask for. And now your breakfast, your beautiful, health-forward, Pinterest-worthy breakfast, is making you feel like you swallowed a rock. In spiritual life, we often talk about appearances. The robes don't make the monk. The words don't make the wisdom. And in food, just because it looks healthy doesn't mean it's helping you. That apple and egg may both be beautiful, but together they're frenemies. You wouldn't serve miso soup with ice cream. You wouldn't go jogging in jeans. Some things just don't vibe. The real struggle here is psychological. Your mind thinks it's doing a good job. Fruit and protein, balanced. But your body may be quietly whispering, please, no more nutrition blogs. This is where mindfulness comes in. Not just what am I eating, but how does it feel after I eat it? Do I feel lighter, clearer, calmer? Or why do I look 6 months pregnant after a single egg and apple combo? Give your food space to shine. Let eggs digest on their own, with low-fiber, low-acid companions like cooked veggies, spinach, mushrooms, zucchini, sweet potatoes or avocado, whole grains like oats or sprouted toast, herbal tea, or warm lemon water. And save apples for a mid-morning snack, afternoon sweetness with nuts, an evening bake with cinnamon and a sprinkle of grace. If you really want fruit with breakfast, try berries, lower in sugar, fiber, and acid. They don't interrupt the egg's journey. They just wave politely as it passes through. Next time you're preparing breakfast, pause. Place a hand on your belly and ask, will this combination help me move through the day with ease? And if your body says no, trust it. Because being healthy isn't about collecting superfoods. It's about cultivating harmony between ingredients, between organs, between awareness and action. That's real nourishment. Part 6, Eggs and Tea. The slow digestion saboteur, or that time your breakfast turned into a traffic jam. Picture this. You're sitting in your cozy kitchen, sun peeking through the curtains. You've got your perfectly soft-boiled eggs, a warm cup of green tea in your hand. You feel like you've got your life together. Look at me, you say, balanced, healthy, probably glowing. Then, halfway through your second egg, your belly starts feeling meh. Not tragic, just off. A little bloated, a little sluggish. Your energy dips before you've even started your crossword. And you think, is this just aging? No, darling. It might be your tea. Let's keep honoring eggs. Because honestly, if any food could give a Dharma talk, it would be eggs. Eggs are compact miracles, protein-packed, full of brain-boosting choline, B vitamins, healthy fats. They help keep your cells functioning, your memory sharp, and your muscles from turning into retirement homes. But like all saints, eggs are sensitive to company. They don't mind being alone. They don't even mind a little spice. But bring in the wrong guest, say tannin-rich tea, and suddenly you've got tension in the temple. Now I love tea. I've sipped it in silence at ashrams, in noisy cafes, and once, confusingly, during a silent meditation retreat where I wasn't sure if slurping counted as speech. Tea is a lovely companion, but it has quirks. Black tea, green tea, even some oolongs are rich in tannins, plant compounds that sound very refined, like they wear tiny tweed jackets. But they do a funny thing inside the body. They bind to proteins and minerals like iron and calcium, especially from eggs. And they hold on like a toddler with separation anxiety. So when you drink tea with eggs, those tannins wrap around the nutrients and whisper, "No absorption for you today." The result? You feel full, but undernourished. You eat for energy, but end up exhausted. You start the day intending to nourish the temple, and instead, you've blocked the doors and confused the monks. Digestion is sacred. In Ayurveda, they call it Agni, the digestive fire. In Buddhist practice, we're taught to eat in a way that calms the mind and honors the body. But tea, especially when sipped with heavy proteins like eggs, can put out your fire. It slows digestion. Your stomach holds onto food longer. You feel heavy, bloated, gassy, not very enlightened. And the longer food lingers in your gut, the more your body has to work overtime, processing not just nutrients, but toxins, waste, and leftovers from yesterday's regrets. It gets worse, but in a gentle Buddhist way. Those tannins don't just block protein, they bind to iron and calcium, two things we really need as we age. Iron keeps us energized. Calcium keeps our bones from turning into metaphors. So while you think you're doing something peaceful, tea and eggs, the breakfast of monks, you're actually pulling the nutritional rug out from under your own feet. It's like trying to meditate while scrolling Instagram. Looks peaceful from the outside, but inside? Chaos. Now, I'm not here to break your tea habit, I would never. Instead, let's talk timing. Tea isn't the problem. The when is the problem. Try this. Drink your tea 30 to 60 minutes before or after your meal, not during. Or switch to herbal teas like chamomile, rooibos, or peppermint. These are tannin-free, digestion-friendly, and they don't hijack your nutrients. Or, and this is revolutionary, drink warm water with lemon in the morning. Simple. Clean. Buddhist. Let me offer you this gentle practice. Tomorrow morning, sit with your meal like it's a dear friend. Before you eat, look at your eggs, look at your tea. Ask them, are we good for each other right now? If the answer is not today, that's not rejection, it's just mindful living. Aging isn't about getting stricter, it's about getting softer, more intuitive, more curious. Let your digestion be your teacher. Let your body speak. And if it says, please don't bring tea to this protein party, well, honor that. In the end, it's not about eggs or tea. It's about waking up to what we're doing. On the plate, in the heart, in the moment. So maybe tomorrow, you still eat your eggs. You still sip your tea. But you do it with space between them, with awareness, and maybe even with a little giggle at how complicated simple things can become when you're paying attention. And isn't that what being here now is all about? So, who would have thought your peaceful little breakfast had so much going on behind the scenes? We began with something simple. Eggs, nature's golden gift. But what we've seen today is that even the most wholesome foods, when paired without awareness, can quietly stir up trouble in the body. We talked about sugar, turning your eggs into a blood sugar roller coaster. White bread, sneaking in inflammation disguised as tradition. Milk and yogurt, canceling out the iron you're trying to absorb. Soy, blocking your protein before it even gets started. Apples and tea, beautiful in theory, but maybe not so friendly to your digestion. Now, this isn't about restriction. It's about awareness, that gentle, loving attention we bring to everything in life, from our thoughts to our toast. If any of this made you pause and think, maybe I'll try something different tomorrow, then that's the teaching working. That's wisdom growing right where you are. And if you'd like to keep exploring how everyday choices shape your long-term peace and vitality, like, comment, or share this video. Every little bit helps us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and more importantly, it helps us keep making gentle, joyful teachings for elders like you. As the Buddha might have said at breakfast, right food, right mind, right digestion. Okay? Maybe he didn't say that, but you get the idea. Be kind to your plate, be kind to your body, and we'll see you next time, here on Buddhist Wisdom for the Elderly.